Hello, everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 652, The Midnight Bus Ride. Intermediate. Sarah clutched her ticket tightly as she boarded the old bus at the station. It was midnight, and a journey to her hometown would take 8 hours through the dark, empty roads. The bus was almost full, with tired passengers staring out the windows or dozing in their seats. Sarah found a spot near the back, next to a window. She needed this trip to escape the stress of city life, but something felt wrong from the start. The driver, a thin man with pale skin and deep shadows under his eyes, didn't smile or say a word. He just started the engine, and the bus rumbled into the night. As the city lights faded, Sarah tried to relax. She listened to music on her phone, but the signal was weak. The woman in front of her, an old lady with grey hair, kept muttering to herself. "They're coming! They're always coming!" she whispered. Sarah ignored her and closed her eyes. Hours passed, and the bus stopped at a small rest area. A few passengers got off to stretch their legs or buy snacks. Sarah stayed seated, watching the dark forest outside. When everyone returned, the driver locked the doors and they continued. Around 2 a.m., strange things began. First, a man in the middle row started coughing violently. It sounded wet and painful, like something was stuck in his throat. Sarah glanced over and saw blood trickling from his mouth. He wiped it away with his sleeve, but more came out. The passengers around him shifted uncomfortably, but no one said anything. The driver kept driving, his eyes fixed on the road. Then the lights inside the bus flickered. Sarah's heart raced. In the brief darkness, she thought she saw movement, something slithering between the seats. When the lights came back, everything looked normal, but the coughing man was now slumped over, his shirt soaked in red. A young couple nearby screamed. "He's dead!" the woman cried. Blood pooled on the floor, thick and sticky, spreading towards Sarah's feet. Panic spread like fire. People stood up, shouting at the driver to stop. But he didn't. The bus sped up, bouncing over rough roads. The old lady in front laughed maniacally. "I told you, they're here!" she yelled. Sarah pressed against the window, her breath fogging the glass. Outside, the trees seemed to twist unnaturally, like living things reaching for the bus. Suddenly, a passenger near the front grabbed the emergency hammer and smashed a window. Cold air rushed in. "We have to get out!" he shouted. But as he tried to climb through, something pulled him back. Sarah saw it clearly, a long black tentacle wrapped around his leg. It came from under the seats, covered in slime and sharp hooks. The man screamed as it tore into his flesh, ripping chunks of muscle away. Blood sprayed across the aisle, splattering passengers. His leg was mangled, bones exposed and splintered. The bus erupted in chaos. People fought to escape, but more tentacles emerged from the floor vents and under the seats. They were part of some monstrous creature hiding beneath the bus, perhaps attached to the undercarriage. One tentacle latched onto the old lady's arm, pulling her down. She howled as it crushed her bones with a sickening crack. Blood gushed from the wounds, and her skin peeled back like paper. Sarah gagged at the sight, and a metallic smell of blood filling the air. The driver finally spoke, his voice calm and eerie. "You can't leave. It's feeding time." He wasn't human. His face twisted, revealing rows of sharp teeth. He was part of it, a lure to trap victims. The creature's body burst through the floor, a massive, pulsating mass of flesh and eyes. It had hundreds of tentacles, each ending in mouths that sucked and bit. Sarah scrambled to the back, stepping over bodies. A tentacle grazed her ankles, slicing her skin open. Pain shot through her leg, blood soaking her shoe. She grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and swung it hard, smashing one tentacle into pulp. Green ichor mixed with red blood on the floor. The creature roared, a sound like thunder mixed with screams. The young couple tried to help her. The man pried open the rear emergency door, but a tentacle impaled him through the chest. His ribs cracked audibly, and blood poured from his mouth as he gasped his last breath. His girlfriend fell to her knees, sobbing, until another tentacle wrapped around her neck and squeezed. Her eyes bulged, veins popping as her head turned purple. With a final snap, her neck broke, and blood trickled from her ears. Sarah was alone now, the bus a slaughterhouse of gore. Limbs torn apart, intestines spilling out, faces frozen in terror. She climbed onto the seats, avoiding the writhing mass below. The driver lunged at her, his jaws unhinging like a snake. She sprayed the fire extinguisher into his eyes, blinding him. He shrieked and fell back, tentacles flailing wildly. With all her strength, Sarah kicked the rear window until it shattered. Glass cut her hands, but she didn't care. She jumped out as the bus swerved off the road, crashing into the trees. The impact threw her into the dirt, bruising her ribs. Behind her, the bus exploded in flames, the creature's screams echoing through the night as it burned. Sarah ran into the forest, bloodied and terrified, until dawn broke. She flagged down a passing car and collapsed inside. The police later found the wreckage, but no bodies, just ash and twisted metal. They called it an accident, but Sarah knew the truth. The midnight bus was gone, but she wondered if others like it still roamed the dark roads, waiting for their next meal. Vocabulary notes. Clutched. Verb. Definition. To hold something tightly, often because of fear, anxiety, or determination. Example. Sarah clutched her ticket tightly as she boarded the old bus at the station. Explanation. In this sentence, clutched shows Sarah holding her ticket firmly, likely due to nervousness or anticipation. It suggests a strong, almost desperate grip. Similar words. Grasped, gripped, held, seized. Example with similar word. Sarah grasped her bag tightly when she heard the strange noises. Muttering. Verb. Definition. To speak or say something in a low, quiet voice that is hard to hear clearly, often to oneself. Example. The woman in front of her, an old lady with grey hair, kept muttering to herself. Explanation. Here, muttering describes the old lady speaking softly and unclearly, possibly out of habit or madness. It suggests secrecy or unease. Similar words. Whispering, murmuring, mumbling, grumbling. Example with similar word. The old lady was mumbling strange words during the bus ride. Gory. Adjective. Definition. Involving a lot of blood, violence, or gruesome details. Example. Implied in descriptions like blood sprayed across the aisle, splattering passengers. His leg was mangled, bones exposed and splintered. Explanation. While gory is not directly used in the story, it describes the violent and bloody scenes, such as the tentacle attacks. It emphasizes the graphic nature of the horror. Similar words. Bloody, gruesome, horrific, grisly. Example with similar word. The gruesome sight of the torn bodies made Sarah feel sick. Slithering, verb. Definition: to move smoothly and quietly, like a snake, often in a way that seems creepy or sneaky. Example: in the brief darkness, she thought she saw movement, something slithering between the seats. Explanation: slithering describes the creepy, snake-like movement Sarah thought she saw, adding to the eerie atmosphere. It suggests something sinister and unnatural. Similar words: sliding, gliding, crawling, wriggling. Example with similar word: a shadow was crawling along the bus floor, making Sarah shiver. Mangled, adjective, verb. Definition: as an adjective, badly damaged or crushed, often in a violent way. As a verb, to severely injure or destroy something. Example: his leg was mangled, bones exposed and splintered. Explanation: in this sentence, mangled describes the horrific damage to the man's leg caused by the tentacle, emphasizing the brutality of the attack. It paints a vivid, disturbing image. Similar words: shredded, torn, crushed, mutilated. Example with similar word: the creature's attack left the passenger's arm shredded and bloody. Story written by Grok AI. Image created by Grok AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
All right, today we're going to tear apart a short horror story to see exactly how terror is built. We're not just talking about monsters and jump scares. We're going to see how a writer can use one single, perfectly chosen word to create pure fear. So, the story kicks off with this line from a passenger, and man, is it unsettling. The real horror here is in what's not said. Who are they? And why are they always coming? It just drops this feeling of inevitable creeping doom on you before anything has even happened. It's the perfect hook. Okay, let's set the scene. The author does something really clever here. They kind of lull you into this familiar setting, a late-night bus ride, but right away they start planting these little clues that something is just deeply wrong here. So right off the bat, we've got a classic horror setup, right? Isolation. An 8-hour ride on dark, empty roads. That immediately makes our main character, and you, the reader, feel completely and totally vulnerable. And with this silent, spooky-looking driver, the unease is already there from the very first paragraph. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Pay attention to the author's choice of just one single verb, clutched. This isn't just a passive action. It's the first real clue we get about what's going on inside our protagonist's head. She's not just holding her ticket, is she? I mean, think about it. That one little word tells you so much more than a whole sentence of description could. It signals Sarah's anxiety. It builds tension from one tiny, deliberate action. She's not just holding a ticket, she's holding on for dear life, and we have no idea why. Yet. Okay, so we've got this base layer of tension. Now let's see how the author starts to crank up the dial. They start layering in these small, disturbing details, moving from what just feels wrong to what is, without a doubt, actually wrong. And here comes another layer of weirdness. We get introduced to the muttering woman. And her words, the same ones we heard at the very start, they just add this whole new level of psychological creepiness to what's going on. You know what's so scary about that? It's that you can't quite hear what she's saying. The unknown is almost always more frightening than a direct threat because our own imaginations go to work filling in the blanks. Is she crazy? Or does she know something we don't? That's the question that makes it so effective. And this timeline, this just lays it all out perfectly. It shows you the author's pacing, which is just brilliant. See, good horror isn't just a sudden boo. It's a slow burn. The author builds it step by step, starting with that psychological weirdness and then escalating to the first piece of physical proof, blood, that confirms, yeah, this is real. And right here, this is the pivot point. This is where things start to shift from just being creepy in your head to something physical. And once again, one single word choice is absolutely everything. Just think about that for a second. The author could have said moving or crawling, but slithering? That word instantly transforms the threat. It suggests something sneaky, reptilian, and totally unnatural is hiding right there on this bus. It's predatory. Okay, buckle up, because all that psychological dread the author has been so carefully building, it's about to explode into straight-up, raw physical violence. Let's break down how the story just shifts gears and slams us with the graphic details. Yeah, there's no more subtlety here, folks. The author just shoves the horror right in your face. It's a brutal, direct description of the creature's first attack, and the language is designed to paint a picture you really can't forget. That word, mangled, you feel that one in your gut, don't you? It's not just broken or injured, it's so much more violent. It forces you to picture how awful this attack is, making the threat terrifyingly real. The gloves are totally off now. And from this point on, it's just pure chaos. The author is just throwing these images at you, tentacles, crushed bones. It's designed to completely overwhelm your senses, just like the passengers are being overwhelmed by this thing. And just when you think it can't get any worse, we get the twist. That silent, creepy driver from the beginning, he's not another victim. Oh no, he's the lure. He's part of the trap. This bus isn't a bus, it's a slaughterhouse. But the story's not over. Our protagonist, Sarah, she's not going down without a fight. This is where she flips the script, going from a passive target to an active, thinking survivor. And what's so amazing here is that even in all this chaos, she's not just flailing around in a panic. She's thinking. She's got a plan. You can see the logic. Blind, smash, jump, survive. It's this transformation that really makes her the final girl of the story. All right, let's pull back for a second. What have we really learned from this little masterclass in terror? Let's recap the key tools the author used to take us on this horrifying ride, one word at a time. So when you lay it all out like this, you can really see the journey, can't you? You see how we went from that quiet, anxious feeling of clutched, all the way to the brutal, graphic shock of mangled. Every single word was chosen on purpose. It's just a masterclass in precision. You know, a truly great horror story, it doesn't wrap everything up in a neat little bow at the end. The official report can say it was an accident, but we know the truth. Sarah knows the truth. And that leaves us with this chilling thought that these things are still out there, just waiting for the next midnight bus. And that, right there, is the power of literary horror. It's not always about the monster you see, it's about the language that builds the fear inside your own mind. The right word can be way more terrifying than any special effect. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's the one word that could truly, deeply scare you?